Lots of people are doing compulsions and they don't even know about it. Is that you? We're going to find out. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist. I make videos for people with anxiety or OCD. And today I want to talk about OCD. A lot of times people will say to me, Natasha, I don't have any compulsions. Or a parent will say, I don't know how to use your tools because my child doesn't have any compulsions. And then I'll say things like, oh, well, do they avoid things? Do they ask you things? And do they do mental stuff? Do they argue with themselves? And we'll go through it. And all of a sudden, there's a ton of compulsions that are happening. So I want to talk to you about some compulsions that you may or may not know are going on. And I'll just talk about some of the most common ones. The first one is avoidance. People miss this one a lot. So yeah, you may not be washing your hands or lining things up like the classic stereotypical OCD that we think of when we watch movies or read bad social media posts, but are you avoiding things that trigger intrusive thoughts? So you can't go to certain places, you can't touch certain things, you can't say certain words, you can't wear certain items, any of those. You have to stay away from stuff, right? Are you avoiding stuff in a way that's compulsive? That's a compulsion, right? Some people only have avoidance as a compulsion. They might just be not being able to touch certain things or not be able to go certain places, not be able to wear certain things. And that's it. All OCD, all compulsions. Another huge one that gets missed a lot, probably more than any of the other ones actually, are mental compulsions. Mental compulsions? Yeah. And I have videos on mental compulsions. You can check out some right here. Mental compulsions are lots of things when you have OCD. You could be mentally arguing with your OCD. Do you play debate with your OCD? I'm not a bad person. I would never do that. Why do you think I would do that? What evidence do you have? Well, remember that one time, says OCD. That time, that wasn't that big of a deal. Honestly, I don't think that's mental arguing. If you are in full debate on sessions with OCD, guess what? You're doing compulsion. Those are mental compulsions. You might be ruminating, thinking about, stuck on things from the past. You might be reviewing things. What did I say? What did I do? Let me go over that. Did I miss something? Is it evidence for this or that? And so mental reviewing can be a compulsion. Mental checking can be a compulsion. So many things can be a compulsion. You might have to do certain things in your head just so that something bad doesn't happen or to ward off your intrusive thoughts. Compulsion, 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 right? So these are much bigger than we think. Do you ever ask other people's opinion about your intrusive thoughts? Compulsion, yeah. So if you say, if I had a thought of da-da-da-da, am I a bad person? Hello, compulsion, right? When you seek reassurance to prove or disprove your intrusive thought or to make your intrusive thought feel less overwhelming, that is a compulsion. And in fact, kids and teens and partners get really stuck in these loops because we depend on other people to complete our compulsions. So we're one part, I need to ask you this, and then you give me the reassurance or you give me an answer, and then, it feels better. That's a compulsion that gets missed a lot. What are some other compulsions that get missed? Sometimes we have to just confess things. And so I'm feeling really bad. I'm having this intrusive thought that I had this feeling or this thought. And so I just say it to the person, or I say it to my parent or my partner. I just say it out loud and then I feel better. That's a confession and that's a compulsion. If you have OCD, right? Some of these behaviors, if you don't have OCD, may or may not be compulsions. But in the world of OCD, these are big red flags for compulsions that often go missing or are missed. The last one I just want to mention, and this is by no means an exhaustive list of compulsions that get missed, but just the top couple. The last one is researching. Do you research? Do you get on the Googles and you're like, what does Google say? I need to research this. And you can research lots of different themes of OCD, require a lot of research. Or as a compulsion, you can do a lot of research. So if you have existential questions, who am I? Why are we here? If you have health questions, what's this lump? What is this bump? Right, that could be. Is this poisonous? Let me check the Google. What do bad people do? Let me check the Google. What are the signs of this or that? Let me check the Google. And when you Google these things, that compulsively can become a compulsion. So let's get out of the stereotypes of what compulsions are, and let's look at all these, very gray areas that you may not realize are compulsions. Because when you're doing compulsions, you are always growing your OCD. And if you don't even recognize that you're doing these compulsions, then you don't know where to start, and you're missing weeds that need to be pulled. And so you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't recognize that, oh, and when I do this, when I mentally argue with OCD all the time, that's growing OCD as well. And when I, speak to my mom and I ask her, just to double check things, are you sure I'm not going to get sick? That's a compulsion. Now you know. Now you know what to look for. Look a little bit deeper, and that helps, because we want to start learning how to try to delay those compulsions if delaying is possible. Sometimes with mental compulsions, there's no awareness until it happens, and then it's like, can you undo it? And I do have tons of videos, like I said, over here on how to handle mental compulsions. That's not what this video is about, but learn those things so that you can crush your OCD completely and not have these hidden compulsions that are just having a party going unnoticed. Well, I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll talk to you again next time. Take care.